And all right, again, very happy to see you all on our webinar today for the MSBA Flex program. My name is Gaurav Shekhar, and I'm the program director for the MSBA Flex and online program. I'm also the senior assistant dean for the graduate programs in the Jindal School of Management. The agenda for today's webinar is very simple. We'll spend the first 15-20 minutes talking about the program, and then we'll straight away jump into your questions. Your questions are important, so please make sure that you're putting them in the chat, and we'll take them one by one right after we are done with the first segment, which should be about 20 minutes from now. So talking about the program, even before we jump into why business analytics at UT Dallas, the bigger question is why business analytics at all? I mean, there are so many different programs that universities offer all the time. Last I checked, UT Dallas was offering about 140 different programs. Then why business analytics? And to really answer this question well, we'll have to go back several years, a few decades possibly. When the 70s happened, one of the best things that happened in the 70s was that the concept of personal computing became very widespread. PCs entered your homes. And we know that any time a computer was brought into the picture, whether it was for personal use or it was for business purposes, they were applications. And applications are built to manage data. So it has always been about managing data. The 70s and 80s was mostly about how do we store this data, but then the 90s was when really our leaders in the industry started thinking about what to do with these heaps of data that they have. And somewhere the conversations took a turn when people started talking about doing some analytics. They have facts and they can use that to figure out what their trends are, what some of the misses are, what are some of the hits, etc. Again, you don't want to make a decision based on your hunch only when you have solid data to prove your hunch or disprove it. So for that matter, understanding the language of data became very important. Now, whenever you have that need, you always start by internal trainings, bringing somebody who's an expert to talk about it. But the speed at which this need was growing and the speed at which these trainers were able to fill in the gap was very different. And that's the time when the industry turned to its best friend, academia. Now, as a major, the first time any place saw a business analytics program was probably in the year 2007. So 16, 17 years later, I don't call this as a very old major. This is one of the newer ones. Now, fast forward to 2024. There is no industry, there's no domain that is not digital or doesn't have a heavy investment into technology. And when we say technology, there are applications, there are computing devices, there is a lot of data that's out there. So whether you talk about the traditional sectors, IT, computer science, technology sectors, or you think about some of the ones where you don't really associate technology immediately with it, like real estate for that matter, or oil and natural gas. When you think about these sectors, you don't think about tech immediately, unless it's heavy machinery, of course, or healthcare. For a long period of time, IT, computers were something in the back office, but they have come in the forefront. In fact, in the pandemic, a lot of decisions around the supply chains, a lot of decisions around the vaccination drives, a lot of decisions around, how do you control the spread was done through a lot of data modeling from the data that was available. Now, the good news for you all and not so good news for the industry is that as the need is growing, there is a big dearth of qualified professionals. And when I say qualified, it's an action word here. It's not like, oh, I know a little bit about making a few charts here and there, and I'm a qualified analytics professional. It is not. People who are analytics practitioners are trained in multiple different areas, like data engineering, procurement of data, pipelining your data modeling, fine-tuning the models, insight generation, interpretation of insights, visualization. I mean, there is so much that you can do with this. So that's what we at UT Dallas really focus on. And that leads us to our guiding themes. Flexibility. We want to make sure that students have the ability to pick the electives that they want to. Half of the degree program is your elective. So whether you are interested in data science or data engineering, and we'll see those tracks in a second, but you can decide when do you want to take a course, what time of the day you want to take that course, in what sequence you want to take that course. Engagement is another important thing for us, because what you're doing in your class is equally important to what you're doing outside of your class. I mean, there is so much that's happening. And I'm not just telling this as somebody who leads a program or works in the school. My first encounter with UT Dallas was as a student myself. And I would say that there was no instance where I sat down and told myself, there's nothing to do today. There's always a lot of things happening. And because not everybody has to really subscribe to everything, but there is something for everyone at all the times. And that's a promise that that's a promise we make to our students, that there will be enough things for them to do that keeps them engaged in the right way, that helps them develop their overall personality when it comes to being a business school student. We're very focused on outcomes as well. We use different methods to get access to the data, whether it is our exit surveys, whether it is surveys after the events, whether it is talking to students, whether it is having focus groups, whether it is just looking at how students did on certain classes, whatever it takes. We make sure that we are constantly improving ourselves while improving that experience, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be in a place that doesn't think ahead of you, doesn't think about how to best make this experience the best one for you as a student. As mentioned before, we have 10 tracks. The 11th one in product and innovation analytics is coming soon, but half of the credits, it's a 36 credit program, half of the credits are core classes and the other half is elective. And you can pick and choose from all these different tracks, depending on where you want to go. You can do accounting, cybersecurity, data science, data engineering. Decision and operation is mostly around supply chains, financial, healthcare, marketing, social media, enterprise analytics. And you don't have to really take all your electives from one track. You can pick and choose from multiple tracks. So you can bake the degree the way you want it. This is a STEM designated program, which means that if your employer is looking for STEM professionals, this is a program. And especially for international students who are looking for an extended period of OPT, optional practical training, that's post your graduation. You get an additional 2 years because of a STEM designated program. This is the one for you. Why us again? So we are the largest in-person analytics program in the country. Across all our different flavors, we have over 1,800 students in the program. The average starting salaries for our students is about $100,000. And this is 0 to 2 years of experience. What we have seen is with each year of experience that you bring into the program, you add another $10,000 per year of experience to your starting salary. And despite the fact that we graduate a lot of students, these numbers still stay on the top. In fact, our class of spring 24 is going to be 550 plus analytics students who will graduate, the largest class ever. And yet we know for a fact, knowing our trends, that they are again going to hit similar numbers or maybe even higher. We have partnerships with dozens of companies. And when I say partnerships, these are not just relations where we meet once in 6 months. These companies are working with us day in and day out. They're recruiting from us, but then they're speaking in our classes. They're working on projects with our students. They're mentoring our students. There's so many things that they're doing with us. They are in the school almost every week for something or the other. And we want those kind of relationships because at the end of the day, who is the beneficiary here? It's you, the student. Texas is a big state. And in Texas, UT Dallas ranks #1 in terms of return on investment. Since I talked about Texas, I love putting out two amazing numbers. It is the eighth largest economy in the world, Texas as a state, and the Dallas-Fort Worth area is the 23rd largest economy in the world. With those kind of numbers, think about the number of jobs, the kind of salaries, etc., that people are getting. So it is a big place to be, both for your education and as well as the employment that you'll be looking for afterwards. More than 600 internships are pursued every year, and the average pay that we see is about $30 an hour, which again is just amazing. Now, the internship pay rate and the full-time pay rate, what we've seen is that there is a ratio 1:2. If you earn $1 as an intern, you earn $2 as a full-timer. And what we see here is that the average pay for interns is about $60,000 per annum, which is in line with what we are looking at in terms of our full-time pay. So $100,000 to $120,000 for our full-timers there. There are three different flavors of the program. The Flex program, which has all the 10 tracks, 85% of the classes are face-to-face, the rest are online. It's a self-paced, so you can finish the degree in 1 year, or the max that you can take is 6 years. Nobody takes that long, but I would say in 1.5 to 2 years, you are able to finish a program. And it's state funded, which means the more credits you take in a semester, the per credit hour rate goes down. But we also have the cohort program, which has 2 tracks out of the 10, data science and accounting analytics. Again, most of the classes there are face-to-face. And again, it is also a self-paced program where you can decide on the pace that you want to go with. One of the things with the cohort program is most of the students end up taking classes as a group. They do have the flexibility of different electives, but for most of the part, you will be studying in the same class with your peers. And then finally, the online program, which is a 100% online offering, offers courses from data science and data engineering. Again, self-paced, but it's 100% online. So if you're a working professional who's looking for an online experience, these are courses which are taught by the faculty who are also teaching in-person classes. Again, GMAT, GRE waivers are available, even though that's one of the requirements in the program. And when we do have a lot of scholarships as well, and we'll talk about that in a second. So what are the application requirements? Of course, we need a GRE GMAT, but guess what? Waivers are available. If you want to send in an application without a score, we will evaluate you for a waiver. In case we cannot give you a waiver, we'll let you know that we probably need your score. And that generally happens when let's say, your undergrad GPA isn't high enough, or we don't see applicable courses where you've done well. We might ask for some secondary proof of your academic proficiency, and that's where a GMAT GRE score comes handy. But we give out a lot of waivers. If you submit an application without a score, we will consider it automatically for a waiver. Transcripts, unofficial transcripts will do. We don't need official documents at the get-go. We need your resume, 3 letters of recommendation, only if you don't have any experience. If you have at least 2 years of experience, 1 letter of recommendation would do. And at least 1 letter should be from a working professional. Doesn't have to be a person that worked with you. Your recommender should be a working professional. And then your personal objective statement, your essay, 1 page, double-spaced. All we need to hear is why this degree and how does it factor in your future. That's it. A simple statement there. We don't offer an application fee waiver until and unless you're part of some of the nonprofit and associations and organizations that are listed on the admissions page. If you're an international student, definitely you would not be part of any of those. But if you're a domestic student, you might be eligible for that fee waiver. It's $50. Again, as a public institution, we cannot offer fee waivers unless you qualify to be a member of one of the organizations. And we'll see those names in a little bit. But your first application is the only one that you pay for. Once you come to UT Dallas and let's say you want to enroll for another program or a certificate or whatever, and there is an application fee required, that will be waived for you. Because for current students and alums for life, it is free to apply to UT Dallas. Scholarships are available. So all the Flex students will have to submit a separate application for scholarship. The deadline is May 1st. My recommendation is do not wait until May 1st. Send it as soon as possible. Now, if you're going for a scholarship, you will have to submit a GRE or a GMAT score. We need to have your scholarship application and your official GRE GMAT score both received before we can review your application. The scholarships for, if you're going for spring 25, the deadline is December 1st. But again, for spring, I would say submit your things as early as possible, maybe by October. Do not wait too much. TA-ships are not available in the first semester, but we do offer them from the second semester onwards. You have to spend 1 semester at UT Dallas, take some courses, get a GPA. We need at least a 3.4, and then we look at what courses you have taken. And if there is a spot and you qualify, we will offer you a TA-ship. Just a sneak peek into our employers. Some of the employers that have been hiding from us for a long time: Ericsson, Copart, Lennox, Southwest Airlines, Amazon, SLR, FedEx, you name it. All sorts of titles that our students say, data science intern, data scientist, data analyst intern, business analyst, marketing analyst. I mean, you can see it's all over the place. Business intelligence is another popular one. This is a particular slide because we like to show what are the different industries in which our students have been working. And as you can see, internet and software, which typically is traditionally considered as the one where you see a lot of data and all, is just about 25% of the whole pie. There are too many different people and different industries that are looking for analytics professionals. So this is good news because you're not limited to just one sector, and the need is all over the place. Our students, they put stories about their internship experiences or stuff that they're doing in the program. Go to LinkedIn if you have a profile there, hashtag UTD MSBA, and you can read through all these thousands of stories about their internship experiences, about what they're doing in the school. These are first-hand accounts, and I would recommend that you go in and look for this. Let's say tomorrow you want to work for a company, your dream company, and you want to know what it takes to be there. What if a student has already worked there? Their experience can help you, what they've posted on LinkedIn. And these are some very good articles to read. Of course, at the end of the semester, when we see a lot of these come through, it is an interesting read. A few hours, you can just sit down and just immerse yourself into what your students might have done throughout the semester. There are more than 450 student organizations at UT Dallas, and about 70 of them are in the business school. These are some of the organizations where our students are extremely active, and whether it is SAP Users Group, Salesforce, Women in Technology, Project Management Club, Toastmasters, Envision, which is a visualization club, Marketing Analytics Club, Big Data Club. I mean, you name it, our students are extremely active. Some bonus. So you can also get some additional certificates while you are studying at UTD, getting your master's degree. These certificates are carved out of your degree program. So what happens is when you get into these classes and you are enrolled in a certificate program as well, you get credit towards your degree, you get credit towards your certificate as well. Both the things. And you don't have to pay the tuition twice, you don't have to take the courses twice. Students might come to us just for the certificate, and depending on their residency, they might end up spending $15,000 to $20,000 to get these certificates. These are 3 to 4 courses. But for a student who's pursuing a master's degree, if those courses apply to your degree program as well, this is no cost to you. You're getting a $20,000 certificate for free. And a lot of students go through it. I mean, just to give an example, we have close to 350 to 400 students who are doing the applied machine learning certificate. And guess what? They are not taking anything beyond their 36 credits. They're able to, pick up the courses that are giving them credit towards both their degree and as well as the certificate. So definitely something to look forward to when you come here. You always want to maximize the value that you're getting in your through your programs. But our email addresses and our contact details, we'll just put the program email address. Anything that you send to that email gets responded very quickly. msbuan@utdallas.edu. It was just put in the chat. Thanks, Sivi. I will take a moment to just share the catalog page that we have. So we talked about the core classes. We have the advanced stats, prescriptive, predictive. So companies love asking questions. What happened? Descriptive stats. That's there. What will happen? Predictive analytics. What do you recommend? Prescriptive analytics. Does it make economic sense? Applied econometrics. And then database class and a modeling class. This gives you such a solid foundation in analytics that after this, if you pick up any area, any course, you're just going to flourish in those areas. But apart from that, our different tracks, and you can see each track has 8 to 10 different courses that you can pick. You remember, you need to only pick 6 of them, and you have close to 80 choices to pick your 6 courses. Data science and data engineering happens to be our 2 very popular tracks. A lot of students, they take courses around NLP, machine learning, deep learning, RPA, causal analytics, depending on what. There are lots of students who are very interested in SAP. And by the way, UT Dallas is one of the oldest and strongest members of the SAP University Alliance. So definitely doing something from that perspective also helps. But again, it's your choice which track you want to take, and we'll just put this link in the chat so that you know what these courses are and you can go through them on your own. There is one more thing: application fee waiver, UT Dallas. So I was talking about the different organizations. If you are a member of it, if you're an international student, there is a high possibility that you are not a member of this. But for our domestic applicants, if you're a member of any of these organizations, I'm going to just put this in the chat as well. You will be able to get it. You will be able to get a fee waiver, which is $50 if you apply. Now, though our deadline is May 1st, but if you send an application after our regular deadline, we will still accept it. There'll be a $75 late fee applied, but we do review applications all the way until the week before the start of classes. So if by any chance you miss out on the regular deadline, don't worry, you can still go ahead and apply. All right, I will stop sharing my screen at this moment and maybe take up questions. Why don't we do this, Sivi? You've been looking at these questions. If you want to just read a few of them out and we can tackle them that way.
Sure. So there's a question about whether or not you can apply for a scholarship without GRE scores.
We will need the GRE score from you, GRE or GMAT.
Someone received the scholarship, but it's mentioned they need to enroll for 5 semesters to continue their scholarship. Is this necessary?
5 semesters. It is 5 semester credit hours that you are required to at least enroll in for your scholarship to be in effect. But if you can just share that email with us separately, we're happy to look into it. It must be semester credit hours. That's what they put in the letter, but we're happy to give you some clarification. Again, any scholarship that you get, if it comes with a waiver, it will say what are the semesters for which you will get a waiver. And mostly our scholarships are, for example, the Dean's Excellence Scholarship is for 2 semesters. So if you're starting in fall, then fall, I'm taking fall 24's example. Fall 24 and spring 25, you'll get the waiver. If you get a scholarship for spring as a new student, then it is only for spring. But it's 5 semester credit hours that you need to enroll in each of the semesters for that scholarship to be applied.
Lots of scholarship questions. So they want to know if unofficial test scores are sufficient for the scholarship application.
Unfortunately not. We will need your official ones to be sent directly from your testing portal. So if you've done GRE, it's the ETS. For GMAT, it's GMAC. send those scores to us. Once you send it, it generally tells you within a day or maybe immediately that it is sent, but it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for it to be received at the school. So the best way for you to know whether UTD has received it or not is you have a to-do list. In your to-do list, it will say whether the score is still pending or it has been received. So if you send it and you don't see any change in the next 2 or 3 days, do not worry, because it takes what we have seen on an average anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks for it to be sent and then be received.
The next question is about when they should accept an admission decision. Someone applied January 10th, but I think just generally speaking, that's often helpful to know.
Again, a very good question. Unlike a lot of schools, we don't pressurize you to accept it by a certain deadline. However, we start our enrollment, in April, and you will see.
I'm sorry, they're asking about their answer up to their application, an admission decision on their application.
Admission decision.
Sorry.
Okay. So, that's fine. That's okay. So once we have received your application and we have all the documents that we need, we will generally take 2 to 3 weeks. We're very quick on this. A lot of our applications are being turned back in about 2 weeks. So give it about 3 weeks and you should see a decision from us.
The question is, do we have to complete 36 credit hours?
That's the minimum that you have to complete to get your degree. That includes 18 credits of the core classes, then the 18 electives. We have an internship requirement as well in the program. And there is a 1 credit hour professional development class that you have to take in the very first semester. That's not part of the 36, but professional development, the 36 credits at least, and your internship. If you don't get an internship, there is a class called the Analytics Practicum, in which we simulate an internship through projects that we get from companies. You can take that class, that counts as your elective, and that will help you graduate.
What is an acceptable GRE score for one to be considered for the scholarship?
I think it's a very common question that we get these days, especially around this time when people are expecting their decisions. There is no one score we can put a finger on that this is a good one. What we can really tell you is that our average GRE scores that we receive is about 312. And what we have seen is with people who are going for scholarships, it's more than that. Now, depending on the pool where you stand, let's say, for the sake of an example, you have 315. Should I call it a good score or a not so good score? I don't know, because depending on the pool, and the pool changes every day. As people apply, the pool changes. The average changes, the median changes, all that changes. So whenever the committee meets, and the committee meets every 2 to 3 weeks, whenever the committee meets and they look at the scholarship application, then they look at, okay, whether you have made the cut or not. At that point of time, where you stand in the pool really matters. But a few days after the committee met, let's say there was a barrage of applications that came in and there were scores much higher than yours, and the average will change for the pool. So I would not say that there is any particular score which I can call a safe score, that if you get that score, definitely you'll get a scholarship. But what we have known is that it is generally much higher than 312, which is our average score for an application.
There was a question about when to apply for spring 2025. So I did put the snip of the application deadlines in the chat. To avoid a late application fee, you want to make sure you apply by the deadline that's listed for each term. So for spring 2025, to avoid a late application fee, you want to apply by October 1st. Absolutely. You can still apply after that. You'll just be charged a late application fee. Someone also asked, what would the next steps be after accepting the offer? So I put the link for steps after admission from the JSOM website. Okay. So, next question. Does the industry understand and recognize BA as a data science course? What is the difference between these courses to become a data scientist? On my personal research, I found that generally business analysts get around 80K, while that of data scientists get 100K. How should one approach this?
Excellent question. And to really answer I think you yourself answered the question. Business analytics analyst and analytics is very different. A business analyst may use data, may not use data. They are mostly systems people. They are the ones who look at how two different applications are connected in the larger landscape. A business analyst may not be an analytics professional at all. We are talking about a program which is business analytics. There's a wide difference between a business analyst and an analytics professional. Our program is the larger umbrella under which data science is one of the streams. You could become a cybersecurity analytics practitioner. You could become a data scientist. You could become a data analyst. You could be a business intelligence person. You could be a data engineer, depending on what you want to do. So for us, the industry recognizes our program as the one that produces and cranks out data scientists because our focus is analytics. Yes, there are courses that helps you with systems as well, but then we have different majors for that. So for example, our IT management track major is mostly about systems, processes, how applications integrate, how processes come together, or what the different technology stacks are. But when you look at specifically data, and data scientists are people who are looking at the data layer, not the systems piece of it. That is what the business analytics program helps you learn and understand. But thank you for asking that question. That's a major misconception between a lot of people when they say that I want to become a business analyst, and that's why I want to do an analytics program. Stevie?
So 2 of the next 3 questions are about the scholarship. So I put the link to the scholarship. That is a separate scholarship application that you must apply to. The deadline is May 1st. Professor Shekhar has already spoken about that, but there's the link and that's how you apply. It is not automatic. What is the deadline to submit English proficiency exam scores if a candidate has also applied for the program?
I'm sorry, your audio broke.
Oh, I apologize. What's the deadline to submit those if the candidate has applied for the program?
So your official scores, I mean, again, you should just submit it as soon as you can. If you have applied, see, we'll give you a decision on your unofficial documents, including your score. Okay, but if you're going for a scholarship application, that's when we will need your official scores.
Can we switch from flex to cohort or the other way around? And how do we do it?
Absolutely. If you want to do it before the start of the program, you'll have to submit a different application. If you want to do it after you are into the program, you just need to do a change of program with our advising office, and they will help you out with that.
I'm from India, but I have a graduate degree and work experience 1 year plus from an English speaking country. Do I qualify for English test waiver?
The good thing is any English test waiver is done on the basis of where you went to school. And if you went to a school in a certain country, there are 46 countries that UT Dallas has recognized, and India is one of those countries. So if you have done your undergrad degree in one of those 46 countries, then you get an automatic test waiver for the English proficiency test.
And I will put that link in the chat as well.
Okay.
Currently, those are all of the questions we have.
Oh, excellent. I think we are doing good on time. Folks, again, this webinar is not the last place where you ask your questions. You can ask your questions through emailing us.
I don't have an answer for that.
Oh, okay. My device just went off, but we do have answers to that. Okay, contrary to what my device just said. Just send us an email. That's the best way to do it. And sometimes what happens is if students we feel require a quick call, we will set up a quick call with you, 15-minute, 20-minute call with you to answer your questions. What is important to us is your questions, to be very honest. And starting a degree program, it's a lot of commitment in terms of time and resources, not just you, but maybe even your family to a large extent. And we do recognize that. So please don't feel like this is the last time you have to ask your questions. We do have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel, which answers a lot of the questions that you may have. It's not just at the program level, but also at the school level. Yesterday only we did a webinar for our students, international students specifically, with our Senior Associate Dean. So just feel free to send your questions our way. And I do see a question there about our email address. It is msbuan@utdallas.edu. Just put that in. We will put this recording on our YouTube channel as well. And while I'm talking about YouTube channel, okay, there you go. Thank you, Sylvie. She has put out the link to our YouTube channel. It has a lot of great resources. Please do join that. Another place that you can get information is, I'm putting it in the chat here, is I'll have to see this. This is we have a Telegram group as well, where students ask a lot of questions.
While you're looking that up, I'll answer the question that just came in about a scholarship decision. So the committee meets about every 15 days. So you could hear basically any time between now and June when they make their final decision, because it is based on your competitiveness to the pool that they are reviewing.
Okay, so UTD, MSBA. Okay, so here is the link to our Telegram group. Feel free to join this, ask questions about, this is for the Flex program, but we will answer your questions if it applies, if it's a general question. Does a transfer student get a waiver for the English proficiency? Now, if you're transferring from a US university or a place where the medium of instruction was English, we can help you with that. See, the rule is simple. If you're transferring from an institution that has already evaluated your English proficiency, we accept it. All right. Well, if that was the last question, thank you so much again for joining us this morning. And we look forward to seeing you. Remember, we have thousands of our alums out there who are doing great things. All of them started at a webinar. So this is the right first step that you have taken, and we are here to answer questions to help you with your transition into UT Dallas. But see you soon, and have a great rest of your day and week. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.